The leaves begin to turn, the boys become men in the great game of college football. But understand this, in this era of the pure playoff privileged, those teams that are undefeated have chances to lose. We're down to 9, and 7 of those teams are out of the Power 5. And we will be at a minimum of 5 undefeateds by November the 9th. The reason? In the Big Ten, a pair of undefeateds, Minnesota and Penn State, will face off. The same will be true in the SEC, where yet another game of the century, likely between 1 and 2, LSU and Alabama, will take place in Tuscaloosa. But if you're sleeping on teams with 1 loss, Oklahoma, Georgia, you better start thinking again, because the Sooners are not done. Not by a long shot, and that's even with the skid by Texas. The reason? They've got the name recognition, they have the cachet, and they have the quarterback that everyone wants to see that's a part of the Heisman race. Those numbers are going to be thrown at you all week long. Jalen Hurts had over 500 total yards of offense in the loss at K-State. He threw for 396. He ran for 3 touchdowns. And Oklahoma is so happy to have Baylor undefeated. They will go into Waco and play. And they're going to hope that Baylor takes care of West Virginia next week and is 9-0. Baylor gets Texas and Oklahoma in back-to-back weeks. Charlie Brewer's team has a chance to be ranked in the top 10 by that time. And that will help Oklahoma plenty, particularly since they have that much-needed 13th data point by playing a Big 12 championship. Who's to say they won't have to beat them twice? Chances of that happening are real. You look on the landscape and you see what's happened out there in college football. There's absolutely no denying that teams out west, and I mean far west, in the Mountain Time Zone, like Utah, have great shots. Utah is one of the best defenses I've ever seen with my own eyes. The work they do in their front line, their second level at linebacker, and Pac-12 performers and All-Americas cluttered throughout their defensive backfield makes them a team that could get it done and win out in the Pac-12. They'll need some help. USC did beat them head-to-head, but the Utes have a favorable schedule when compared to Oregon. Oregon's got a tough road to hoe, and everyone knows it. But when you start thinking about the national championship and those teams that are going to qualify for the college football playoff, don't start thinking that Georgia's out of it. They get a chance to play Florida. Florida is one of those teams with 1 loss that's still very much a factor. And with LSU meeting Alabama, who's to say that 1-loss team, whoever loses that game, will not fall precipitously? If you are number 1 or number 2, you're not going to drop that far. But the best team in college football? Absolutely no doubt about it. It's time to start talking about Fields for the Heisman. It's time to start talking about Ohio State as the one team with a big name that's playing big-time football at every level. What they did to the Wisconsin Badgers, bludgeoning them the way they did at the Shoe on Saturday, was something that had a lot of us that already had them number 1 saying, yeah, we were ahead of the curve. College football today, yeah, the currency is tradition and history, and the cachet comes from the pure playoff privilege, those that have the big names. But right now, the team that's playing like it deserves a big name is Ohio State. But those teams with 1 loss still have a very good chance of getting to the 4-hole. And that team, Oklahoma in the Big 12, that team, Georgia or Florida out of the SEC, still very much a part of the race. In truth, college football doesn't have 3 or 4 teams that are worthy. They have 7, 8, maybe 9 teams that are worthy. If you didn't think expansion was needed by now, then I don't know what planet you're on or what sport you've been watching. And like it or not, that's on Brando.
Hey, thanks for watching. If you enjoy that clip, make sure you click subscribe somewhere down here. From game highlights to exclusive interviews and rankings, we've got everything you need as a college football fan right here, College Football on Fox.